Even though the prettiest girl in my class, Phoebe Jones, bombed her college entrance exams, she claimed she had gotten into the prestigious Pemberton University and was just waiting for orientation day. She even guaranteed she could get the whole class in too. Everyone erupted in cheers, put her up on the class podium, and lined up to hand over their applications. Something did not sit right with me, so I asked a few questions. Her exclusive enrollment channel turned out to just be an AI chatbot called Babbel. Babbel had promised her it had reserved exclusive spots at Pemberton and guaranteed she would be registered by the start of the term. I tried to warn everyone that it was just an AI telling her what she wanted to hear, but my childhood friend was the first to jump to her defense. "Marin, how could you think that about Phoebe? She's doing this for the whole class. What's your problem?" My best friend added, "Marin, AI is the way of the future. You can't just dismiss it because you don't get it." That was all it took to turn the whole class against me. They pushed me around until I tumbled down the stairs, cracked my head open, and died on the spot. When I opened my eyes, I was back at the moment Phoebe announced she had gotten into Pemberton. I could not save people who were hell-bent on their own destruction, so this time, I wished them nothing but the best. The splitting pain in the back of my skull still seemed to linger at every nerve ending. I snapped my eyes open and gasped for air. The classroom was drowning in cheers. "Phoebe, that's insane! You barely passed your exams and still got into Pemberton? You're literally our savior. Only the prettiest girl in class could have such an exclusive insider connection like that. Please, please, please take me with you. I want to get into Pemberton too." I sat drenched in cold sweat, staring at the scene unfolding before me, familiar yet completely absurd. Phoebe Jones, a girl who could not even solve a quadratic equation on her best day, held up her brand new iPhone from the classroom podium with a look of smug triumph plastered across her face. On the screen was an AI chatbot interface. I had returned to the past, 2 hours before my death. "Line up everyone, one at a time." Phoebe basked in the adoration, her voice dripping with sweetness. I paid top dollar to unlock Babbel's premium tier. It already guaranteed me that all you have to do is send it your ID number, and it'll lock in an exclusive enrollment spot at Pemberton for you. A handful of students who actually had decent grades held onto a shred of sense and spoke up cautiously. "Phoebe, is an AI really reliable? What if it doesn't go through? These are our real exams we're talking about." My childhood friend Gavin Holt jumped in like a guard dog let off its leash the moment someone dared question the girl he worshipped. "What do you people know? It's literally called artificial intelligence. It's the way of the future. Phoebe's being generous enough to share something this valuable with all of you, yet you have the nerve to doubt her?" Phoebe's eyes reddened with a wounded look, and she tapped her phone with a pout. "Fine. If you don't believe me, I'll just ask Babbel myself." Babbel replied within seconds, a wall of text filling the screen. Phoebe hit the text-to-speech button, and a robotic female voice echoed through the silent classroom. "Dear user, please rest assured, this system has gained full access to Pemberton University's internal admissions network. Should you fail to enroll as scheduled, our company will compensate you $5 million in emotional damages. We have a top-tier team of hackers working to ensure your success." The classroom erupted the moment they heard $5 million. Holy crap, $5 million. So even if I don't get into Pemberton, I'll walk away with $5 million. That's a win-win situation. "Phoebe, sign me up. I don't even care about getting in. I just want the $5 million exactly. Even if I don't get in, $5 million would have me set for life." Looking at the frenzy that had consumed my classmates, all I felt was the absurdity of it all. Babbel had merely generated a meaningless block of text, yet an entire class of high school seniors believed it wholeheartedly. When the excitement hit its peak, Gavin jumped onto the podium. Eager to show off in front of Phoebe, he shouted out a suggestion so reckless that it bordered on deranged. "Listen up. Since Phoebe's already used AI to lock in our spots at Pemberton, that official government application portal is completely useless to us now. So, to prove we trust Phoebe and to celebrate the fact that our entire class is about to walk through Pemberton's gates together, I say we do this. Every single one of us will change our application to Pinewood Vocational College in the official system." The classroom went dead silent for a second. The official system was serious business. Once a selection was changed, there was no taking it back. Phoebe saw the room's hesitation and immediately typed a question into the chatbot. A few seconds later, she held up her phone and yelled, "Babbel says it doesn't matter what you put in the official system. It won't affect their backdoor operation at all. In fact, the worse your choice looks, the better. It's a smokescreen, so Babbel can work its magic without drawing attention." Between Babbel's expert confirmation and Gavin fanning the flames, the last shred of reason in the room disappeared. "Let's do it. I'm with Gavin. Yeah, we're basically already Pemberton students. What's wrong with sticking a vocational school in the system just to mess with it? This is incredible. Imagine showing up to Pemberton on the first day with vocational school paperwork. Everyone's jaws will hit the floor. This is our graduation blowout." One by one, the students pulled out their phones, logged into the official application portal, and deleted their first and second choice universities without a moment's hesitation. Every last option was replaced with the lowest tier diploma mill they could find. I stood quietly in the corner, watching them howl with laughter as they hit the submit button. It was like watching a circus act performed by people who did not know they were the joke. They had destroyed 12 years of hard work with their own hands and still thought they were rebels, breaking the system. Out of the 43 students in the class, 42 had already changed their applications. Every pair of eyes in the room landed on me, the only one who had not. I slung my bag over my shoulder and headed for the door. I wanted out of this asylum. "Stop right there!" Gavin lunged forward in a single stride and planted himself in the doorway. A few boys fell in behind him and boxed me into the corner against the wall. "Marin, where do you think you're going? The whole class has already changed theirs. Do you think you're special?" His eyes were vicious, the exact same look he wore in my last life when he shoved me down the stairs. "We're a team. If you don't change your application to a vocational school today, you're not walking out of this classroom." Phoebe strolled over in her little white sneakers and looked down at me, her tone dripping with condescending generosity. Marin, I know you care about your pride. Are you scared I won't use Babbel to submit your enrollment? Is that why you're clinging to your official application? If you change your selection to a vocational school right now, in front of everyone, I'll do you the enormous favor of putting in your Pemberton application too. We're classmates. Of course I'd bring you along for the ride. The rest of the class immediately chimed in. Seriously, Marin, don't be ungrateful. Phoebe's being this generous, yet you're still making a fuss? If you don't change it, that means you don't trust Phoebe, and that makes you a traitor to this whole class. My sockled best friend Kira Beckett sidled over, putting on her best show of concern. Marin, just hand over your login and password. Gavin's only doing this for class unity. If you're the odd one out now, how are you gonna fit in with everyone once we're at Pemberton? I looked at the mob closing in on me and took a deep breath. If I pushed back now, I was sure what had happened in my last life would happen again. This time around, I did not just want to watch them crash and burn. I needed to keep myself safe while it happened. Besides, none of them knew that students on national scholarships had their records handled outside of the regular application system. As the gold medalist in this year's National Physics Olympiad, I had been personally selected by Pemberton's dean for guaranteed admission. My file had been pulled into Pemberton's system long ago. Even if I put Cloverfield Community College in the portal, my records were already sitting safe and sound in Pemberton's admissions office. I put on my best frightened look, bit my lip, and let a flicker of surrender cross my face. Fine, I'll change it, but I can't bring myself to do it. Gavin, you do it for me. I gave him my username and password. Gavin let out a smug, triumphant scoff as though he had just won the war. He immediately logged into my account and deleted every top-tier university I had listed as the entire class watched. He hammered in the diploma mill's name with obvious glee and slammed the submit button. Done. He held up the phone for the whole class to see. The classroom exploded into thunderous cheers. Phoebe flicked her hair with a satisfied toss and typed my name into the chatbot. There, Marin, Babbel has already replied. Your Pemberton spot is locked in. Make sure you thank me properly when the semester starts. I looked at the staggering stupidity on Phoebe's face and smiled with a nod. Of course, when the semester starts, I will definitely thank you properly. I walked out of the classroom with my bag slung over my shoulder. Behind me, I could hear them making plans to go out and celebrate all night. I looked up at the blinding sun and felt lighter than I had in a long time. I wanted them to go ahead and celebrate, to let it all out. The higher they flew, the harder they would break when they fell. The long, sweltering summer passed in a haze of manic excitement for the rest of the class. The group chat blew up every single day, hundreds of unread messages piling up without end. Phoebe ruled the chat like she had crowned herself queen. Phoebe, has everyone bought their Pemberton spirit shirts yet? I've already got mine. We're all wearing them when we show up to Pemberton on our first day. Gavin, got mine. Whatever Phoebe wears, I wear. I can't wait to see the look on the Pemberton security guards' faces when 43 of us show up at once. Kira, I'm so excited. Oh, by the way, did everyone get the acceptance letter from that vocational college? I'm dying of laughter. They actually mailed it to me. Sure enough, by mid-August, the physical acceptance letters from the vocational college had landed in their mailboxes one after another. The group chat panicked for about half a minute. Then, Phoebe sent a screenshot from Babbel. In the screenshot, Babbel was spouting its usual nonsense with perfect confidence. Babbel, dear user, receiving the vocational college acceptance letter is a standard part of the operations protocol. Please do not be alarmed. Your internal Pemberton student file has been fully registered. Simply present your ID at the Pemberton freshman check-in desk on September 1st. With Babbel's stamp of approval, the class threw caution to the wind entirely. They ripped up their vocational college acceptance letters, burned them, and even filmed themselves doing it for social media. Meanwhile, I had quietly signed my own acceptance letter at the beginning of August. It was an exclusive guaranteed admission letter, personally signed by Pemberton's dean. I locked it away in my desk drawer and waited in silence for the first day of the semester to arrive. Soon, September 1st arrived. It was the perfect day for a reality check. Autumn had settled over the city with crisp, clear skies. The towering gates of Pemberton University buzzed with activity as freshmen and their parents flooded in from every direction. I was wheeling my suitcase toward the main plaza when I spotted a scene that stopped me in my tracks.
All 42 of them were there, decked out in cheap knockoff Pemberton t-shirts they had bulk ordered online, crowding the entrance to the freshman check-in lane in one enormous herd. Phoebe stood at the front, face flushed red, in a heated argument with the security guards and the orientation volunteers. Can you even use the system? I told you we were approved through an internal channel. All we have to do is scan our IDs and we're in. She stomped her foot and slammed her ID card on the table. The volunteer manning the verification desk, a senior student drenched in sweat, held onto his patience and tried to explain. Look, I've scanned you through the system 3 times already. Your names aren't in there, and you don't even have acceptance letters. There's nothing I can do. Acceptance letters don't mean sh*T. Those are regular people. Gavin shoved the volunteer aside and jabbed a finger at the security guard's face. Is your system broken? Get the head of admissions out here right now. If you stop 42 geniuses from enrolling, can you handle the consequences? The guard looked at them like they had lost their minds and let out a dry laugh. Geniuses? I've been working security here for over 10 years, and I've never seen a genius show up without an acceptance letter. What school are you people actually from? Stop causing trouble. Phoebe panicked and whipped out her phone. She pulled up Babbel and shoved the chat history in the guard's face. Open your eyes and read. Babbel already said our enrollment records have been set up. This is the AI that submitted our applications. Are you saying it doesn't count? The guard squinted at the screen. He blinked once, then burst into loud, unrestrained laughter. Oh my god. Did you kids fry your brains by doom-scrolling too much? He pointed at the phone screen, not even trying to hide his amusement. An AI submitted your applications. Then have your AI print you a diploma while it's at it. What are you doing, causing a scene at Pemberton's front gate? Get out of here before I call the police. The freshmen and parents waiting in line had gathered around by now, pointing and whispering, laughter rippling through the crowd. What kind of world do we live in? Someone shows up with a chatbot screenshot and expects to get into Pemberton. They probably bombed their exams and lost it completely. That's actually kind of sad. Colour drained from all 42 of their faces at once. Kara tugged at the hem of Phoebe's shirt, panic creeping into her voice. Phoebe, what's going on? Babel said the plan was foolproof. Phoebe bit down hard on her lip. Tears pooled in her eyes, but she was still clinging to the last thread of hope. That's impossible. Babel wouldn't lie to me. It said we were in, so we're in. That was when Gavin caught sight of me out of the corner of his eye, standing at the edge of the crowd, watching it all unfold in silence. He looked at me like I was equal parts scapegoat and salvation. His eyes went red and he charged straight toward me. Marin, what are you doing standing over there enjoying the show? You're one of us. Get over here and talk some sense into these people. He grabbed my suitcase handle and shouted in my face. I brushed his hand away and let the faintest smirk settle at the corner of my mouth. Talk sense into them about what? About how all of you got played by a brain-dead chatbot. I ignored the stunned looks on their faces, reached into my backpack, and pulled out a gold embossed acceptance letter stamped with Pemberton's crest. Then I walked straight toward the verification lane. My acceptance letter, decorated with Pemberton's signature purple, shone brightly under the sunlight. Every single one of my former classmates flinched at the sight of it. I paid no attention to the looks on their faces, each one staring at me as though they had seen a ghost, and handed my letter and ID to the senior volunteer who had been sweating through his shirt moments ago. He took the letter and ran it under the scanner. The scanner beeped once, and the screen flashed green. The senior volunteer's tired expression instantly changed. He stood up so fast his chair scraped across the pavement. Welcome to Pemberton University, Ms. Marin Carter. His voice was loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. Your admission was confirmed months ago under the National Physics Olympiad Talent Program. The dean personally approved your enrollment. Congratulations. Crowd immediately burst into applause. So she really got in. She's an Olympiad champion, and those other kids were mocking her. Phoebe's face turned paper white. What talent program? I calmly collected my documents. My admission never depended on the public application system. I was accepted before any of this happened. Gavin stumbled backward. No, you lied. You said you changed your application just like us. I smiled. I did. You watched while you changed it. You insisted on logging into my account. I simply didn't stop you. Silence. Realization spread across their faces one by one. They hadn't been tricked. They had trapped themselves. Phoebe suddenly screamed. She knew all along. She watched us ruin our futures. I turned toward her. I warned you. I asked whether an AI chatbot could really control university admissions. You called me jealous. You forced me to hand over my account. You even blocked the classroom door, so tell me. Ruined your future. Phoebe opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Because everyone there knew the answer. It wasn't me. It was her. Just then several reporters rushed toward the commotion. One of the parents had already uploaded videos of the argument online. Microphones surrounded Phoebe immediately. Miss, is it true you convinced dozens of students to reject their university offers? Did you really tell everyone an AI had hacked Pemberton's admissions system? Were you charging money? Phoebe panicked. No. I was helping everyone. It was Babel. The AI promised us. The reporter frowned. So, your source is an AI chatbot. The surrounding crowd erupted with laughter. Someone was already live streaming. Within minutes the video exploded across social media. 42 students throw away university offers because chatbot promised secret admission. The title spread like wildfire. By that afternoon every parent had learned the truth. The school's office became absolute chaos. Parents stormed into the principal's office demanding answers. My son had a scholarship. My daughter was accepted into medical school. Who allowed this? The principal immediately called every student involved into the auditorium. Teachers sat grim-faced across the front row. Phoebe still refused to admit responsibility. I never forced anyone. Only shared information. They made their own decisions. Before anyone could answer, the classroom projector suddenly displayed security footage. It was footage from our classroom. Everyone watched Gavin blocking the door. Everyone watched Phoebe telling students to change their applications. Everyone watched Kira demanding my password. Then came Gavin's voice. If you don't change your application today, you're not leaving this classroom. Room fell silent. The principal slowly removed his glasses. So, you did pressure your classmates. Phoebe's knees nearly buckled. Gavin quickly pointed at her. She started everything. Phoebe immediately pointed back. It was your idea to change the applications. Kira burst into tears. You both told us Babel was real. Within seconds, the entire group was screaming at one another. Friends became enemies. Best friends accused each other. Some students even admitted they had only gone along because they were afraid of being bullied. The teachers watched in complete disappointment. Finally, the principal spoke. School will fully cooperate with the education department. Anyone found guilty of coercion, intimidation, or cyberbullying will face disciplinary action. Then he looked directly at me. Marin, I'm sorry we failed to protect you. The first time since my rebirth, someone apologized. The investigation lasted 3 weeks. The evidence was overwhelming. Videos, chat records, security footage, witness statements. Everything pointed to Phoebe and Gavin as the leaders. The education department officially rejected every appeal to restore the altered applications. The deadline had passed. There would be no exceptions. Many students were forced to attend the vocational college they had mocked. Others lost scholarships forever. Several would have to wait an entire year before applying again. As for Phoebe, her parents tried suing Babbel's company. The lawsuit didn't even make it past the first hearing. The judge ruled that the chatbot had never claimed to represent Pemberton University and clearly stated its responses could contain inaccurate information. The responsibility belonged entirely to the users. The lawsuit was dismissed. Phoebe's family was ordered to pay legal costs. News outlets covered the decision nationwide. Phoebe became the internet's favorite punchline. People jokingly asked AI chatbots for lottery numbers and hidden billion-dollar bank accounts, posting screenshots with captions like, "Don't worry, Babbel guaranteed it." Meme never died. One rainy afternoon, months later, I walked across Pemberton's campus after finishing my first laboratory session. Near the university gate stood two familiar figures handing out flyers for part-time work, Phoebe and Gavin. Their expensive confidence had disappeared. Their knockoff Pemberton shirts had long since faded. Neither of them noticed me until I walked past. Gavin lowered his head immediately. Phoebe looked as though she wanted to say something. Instead, she quietly stepped aside. No insults, no excuses, no arrogance, only regret. I didn't stop. Some people think revenge is making your enemies suffer. They are wrong. The greatest revenge is letting people live with the consequences of the choices they made themselves. As I walked through Pemberton's gates, the same gates they had dreamed of entering, I heard the welcome bell ring across campus. This time, it rang only for those who had truly earned the right to be there. The end.